Over the last several episodes, I have mentioned several times that when it comes to nutrition therapy and PKD, my recommendation is to work with a professional. Sounds great, right? To get support and expert guidance, but where can you actually find someone? That exact question likely ran through your mind as you were listening. In this shorty episode, I am going to be sharing my 5 favorite resources to find a registered dietitian to work with for your PKD health. Before diving in, just a little overview on what it takes to become credentialed and licensed as an RD. That's short for registered dietitian. Getting credentialed as an RD requires extensive schooling, soon to be a minimum of a master's in science, an internship residency, lots of hands-on experience, and passing a certified board test. All this to become a food and nutrition expert. There is a lot of science, folks, and I for sure loved that part and still do. All of this helps prepare dietitians to provide nutritional counseling and what's called medical nutrition therapy. It's important to know there are lots of different areas that dietitians focus on and specialize in, and not everybody is an expert in the kidneys. For more on what it takes to become a registered dietitian, I linked out a blog in the show notes if you're curious. This leads me to a few questions I want you to consider when looking for an RD to work with. First, I want you to think about what are your goals. Are you hoping to work on overall kidney health? Are you curious about or want to start ketogenic therapy? Do you have lower kidney function and perhaps need a lower protein diet? These are just examples of a few things to consider. Your goals may change over time, but it is a really good starting point. Also consider, do you want this person to specialize in the kidneys? Even better, to be informed and up to date about PKD. My thoughts on this in a minute. Another thing to consider is if being able to use insurance is a must for you. Also think about how you prefer to work with someone. Do you want in-person sessions? Do you prefer virtual or a hybrid of them? Knowing what is important to you ahead of time will help guide you to find someone who better fits your needs. I highly recommend when working on your nutrition for PKD to work with a renal dietitian. That's a kidney dietitian. They're going to understand and be able to support you with more specifics about your kidney health and nutrition therapy. Working with someone who gets kidney health is important. There are not a lot of dietitians who focus on PKD and nutrition. I can't speak to what other renal dietitians know or don't know about polycystic kidney disease, but it is at least a good starting point for help that is kidney specific. You have heard me say many times that PKD isn't CKD. However, beneficial nutrition for PKD and CKD do overlap in some areas, and this is where you can focus on up-leveling your diet and support. Know this, a dietitian is more than someone who just quote-unquote tells you what to eat. In the show notes, I linked out my blog, Polycystic Kidneys, 30 Ways a Dietitian Can Help and How to Find One. This list, this 30 ways, is a great starting point to look at with what you want to work on with the dietitian. Go ahead, print it out. Highlight areas that you think you might want support with or to work on. And of course, if you are not sure and need help with that, your dietitian can absolutely help you figure out your nutrition plan. If you find a dietitian who you like working with or want to work with, but they aren't necessarily up to date on PKD or have a good grasp on the differences between PKD and CKD, send them my way to the PKD Dietitian. I am building up resources and training for fellow dietitians. It is a mission of mine to educate fellow dietitians on nutritional interventions and opportunities specific for PKD, to really spread awareness within healthcare about options to slow the progression of polycystic kidney disease. Of course, working with me directly is always an option for you. Your first step would be setting up a PKD Connect call with me. With this episode, I really also want to highlight other places for you to find support, because I can't work with everyone and I am not for everyone. What's important is that you get nutrition help and support. Here are my favorite resources to help find a renal dietitian. By the way, these are all linked out. Number 1, the National Kidney Foundation's PKD Dietitian Database. What I like about this one is you get to pick the region you live in, and the NKF provides you with a list of dietitians in that area. And being that they're part of the Kidney Foundation, they do have more of a focus on kidney health. Number 2, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Find a Nutrition Expert Directory. Now with this one, you type in your zip code, but you also have to specify and select that it's quote unquote kidney disease and renal box. You can even filter out on this one if someone accepts insurance or not. So if insurance is important to you, that might be a really good resource. Number 3, ask your nephrologist, your kidney doctor, if they work with a dietitian. They absolutely can send that dietitian a direct referral and get you started with help and sessions. Number 4, check out a website called healthprofs.com. Now, this one's a little bit more complicated because you have to narrow it down to where you want help, which they call issues, and you have to select renal issues, and you can actually put in your location. On the blog, I show you how to do this. So if you're interested in health profs, check that out, and you can narrow it down there. And last but not least is the Practitioner Network from Santa Barbara Nutrients. Now, this is a good place to look if you're interested in ketogenic therapy. Not everybody on here is a dietitian, so look and see who you might be interested in working with. Not to forget about my international listeners, there are some great resources for you linked out in the blog on how to find a dietitian, including Canada, Australia, the UK, the Philippines, and even France. So check out those links there. And of course, you can always reach out to me. There are so many benefits to having a dietitian on your PKD healthcare team. Finding one who you like, who is available to you and for you, is key. I highly recommend, if we aren't able to work together, to seek out someone who is a kidney dietitian. After all, your kidneys really are badass, and nutrition to help support them should be individualized for what you need and to you. I hope you enjoyed this shorty episode and find the resources mentioned super helpful on your journey to finding someone to support you with nutrition and PKD health.